Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. Thank you for tuning in with us. Today, I have a really awesome episode. I'm actually going to be talking about dating, all about coming out of, long relationships or just putting yourself back onto the market after a period of maybe not dating at all, and talking about some safety tips as well as just how we protect our energies and how we kind of better come through cycles. So stay tuned. That's on the way. Cue the intro. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to this episode of the Eyes Wide Open podcast. I am your host, Kiah. Thank you guys for tuning back in with me this week. This week, I really wanted to talk about kind of like tips for when you're getting back out there dating after you haven't really for a while. And the reason that I was thinking about talking about this is that there's just a lot of tendencies that we as people tend to have, habits that we have. I was thinking about my episode about patterns and cycles and was like really reviewing some of the content when I was thinking about like things that I do that support me versus things that I used to do that no longer supported me. So I started to drop those things. But then I started to think about that in the sense of like love and dating and how it is when you have to like jump back out there and like meet new people and deal with new people and just, when you're, especially when you're coming out of a long relationship, or just like, a period of trying to like renew yourself maybe, or, gain some clarity, some insight maybe. I know that's how it was for me, trying to get a lot of clarity, a lot of insight. I have my notes. Old-fashioned today too, like paper and everything. I got my notes, but it's all good. Let me do quick little drops if you guys would like to follow me on social media. Obviously, I am Von Kiah M on Twitter and Von Kiah on Instagram. And to follow the lovely podcast page, check me out on IG. That is the Eyes Wide Open Pod on IG, obviously. And if you go to the Insta bio link below, on any of these platforms in the description bar, you should be able to access like any features I have and, extra good fun content. I have lots of things like that. Now, let's get into the episode. I'm ready. Let's talk about ways that we can get back out there. Not really get back out there, because obviously you just put yourself out there, but just the tips for dating when you are already out there, okay? This is in no particular order. I just was sitting down thinking, and writing turned into like typing and just like a whole bunch of mess. So rock with me here, my lovelies. You guys know me. I'm just kind of all over sometimes. But number one that I have on my list. Before I even get into number one, I also wanted to say that for the people who like are awkward, like you came out of a long relationship, so you're like awkward, this video is for you too, just so you know, because I'm a very awkward person. Like, how do I even eloquently speak to people? How do you do that now? How do you even flirt anymore? Can we get a flirting 101 class? Does anyone know how to do that? I know of a couple of people. I'm gonna start calling you guys out. I'm gonna reach out to somebody. I feel like she might know who I'm talking about, but we need a how to flirt 101 for the ladies out here and the gents. But anyway, let's get into the first thing that I have. So first thing is drive yourself on your first date, or until you're comfortable with your date. Unless you know them, like it's a friend of that family that wants to take you out, maybe, if you're that comfortable. But drive yourself the first time or until you are comfortable with your date, please. If it's someone that's new or unfamiliar, I absolutely would suggest that, because you just never know who people are, especially if you're meeting people in the age that we are right now, which is a lot of like social media and stuff like that, and you really want to take care of yourself and just make sure that you're good. If you're Ubering there, not a bad option either, but just be careful. Definitely just be careful. Make sure that you have whatever protective measures you may need, if you're like really, really concerned with safety. But yeah, because meeting someone that like you've never met before, it can be really scary, especially when you talk about like us as women and we get dressed up and we're sexy, and there's like that whole stigma of individuals who feel like because we dress sexy, like we somehow deserve, and there's stigma of people who feel like, oh, we're dressed like this and they're gonna do what they're gonna do anyway. So take care of yourself, be safe. And I feel like that's something so big because we see a lot of people get hurt or offed, or like a crazy situation happens, and it's like small little safety things that we can just do to maybe decrease the chance or the opportunity at least. So you can't prevent crazy all the way, but you can do something to deter it. Number 2, remember that you're not the only person that might be nervous. You know what I mean? I feel like the more you get out there and the more that you date, the more that you realize that there are a lot of people who have situations who might be similar to yours, or you'll realize that they're coming out of situations that are way crazier than what you ever would have imagined. And just some people who've, like, there's people I've met who are like, oh, I've never dated anyone before, and you're like, wow, but that's just people's story and their path and like where they come to at this point. So when you are out there, just understand that like some people really don't know 100% what to do. Like, people are nervous, they're shy, they're like, this is all new world for them too. You know what I mean? Just relax, because you're not alone. No, none of us are alone in these situations. We just have to breathe a little bit and welcome to that good energy. You guys are on a date. You should be out to have a good time, really enjoy yourself. Let's get into it. Number three, know your limits. Definitely know your limits. When you come out of like a long-term relationship with somebody, you guys may have been able to have each other's back. Maybe one person was like the drinker, one person was a smoker, one person was always the designated driver. Just make sure that when you're going out with new people that you understand your own limits and boundaries, because other people might not, have you back like how things were in the last situation, and you don't want to put yourself at risk for something negative to potentially happen. You know what I mean? Like, it can just be like really, really scary, and you have to ensure that you're not trying to welcome in that type of energy by being so reckless. You know what I mean? If you were reckless back then and you were in that loop and that pattern and that cycle with the individual, obviously had a different arrangement. So just make sure that if you are having drinks at the bar with someone, you know how many drinks that you can have before you need to maybe take a stop, or you are responsible enough to have your Uber or your ride or whatever lined up. But just ensure that you don't fall into too much like manipulation or temptation within how these other individuals are going to handle you. Because a lot of people, male or female, you know what I'm saying, might want to take you home, and you might not be quite ready for that, but you're so messed up that you're just kind of going with whatever. So know your limits, know your boundaries, know where you want to stop your own self. Now if people are drugging you and doing other crazy stuff like that, I don't think that's okay. And you hope people are stand-up individuals to not take advantage of you, but there are idiots and a-holes who do that. So protect yourself at all costs. Take all the precautions, please. I also feel like it's very like disrespectful and irresponsible to your date too if you don't know how to hold like yourself together and you're stumbling and you're puking everywhere and you expect them to take care of you. It's kind of like, who is this person? This is not what I signed up for when I came on this date. I didn't know I was going to be playing mom and Uber driver and all this. So just make sure that you guys are fully aware of yourself. Like, really take a moment and understand your own self-awareness, what you're looking for out of the day when you go on it, etc. That you aren't making your problems someone else's problems at the end of the night. You know what I mean? Number 4, be yourself. You guys knew I was going to come with something really positive and regular that we all should know, but a lot of us totally forget about because, we're in the constant, hustle and bustle of day-to-day life. But be yourself, and we shouldn't have to say that, but we do, A lot of the times people come out of situations or they get around new people or meet new people, and the first thing they do is come to the table with like, hello, how are you? And they're in their like very best everything. You know what I mean? Like everything seems perfect, but we all know perfection is illusionary. So I feel as though we change that habit a little bit, change that cycle a little bit. I was watching or listening to or reading, one of those is an interview that Neo did probably a couple of years ago. And Neo was discussing how he was with his current partner, I believe, how they met, and they, on like one of their first meetups, just dumped all their BS on the table, like all this shit that they had, that, you know what I mean, just like everything on the table. And they're like, that's my worst. If you can handle that, like that I did that and I'm not going back to that and I'm progressing, then we're good. If you can handle that, this is how I get when I'm angry, or this is what I am, like, we're good. And I respected it a lot because it takes a lot of vulnerability to do that with someone, especially someone who is new. And I know that even me, like that is like very, very, very bold and brave, and like I admired it so much because it's just like really like stripping yourself, like, hey, this is who I am. And some people may not want to do all that. Like you might not want to give somebody that much insight into you, but I did think it was really admirable because it's like, well, hey, at least they both know what's up with them, at least they're okay. But it is something that we can think about doing. I know I'm going to really just consider that method. And I feel like if you're going to tell them eventually, I mean, why not? But I thought it was really cool how they did that. And pretty much they've been together ever since, of course. And I know some of us in the community got problems with Neo. I don't remember that. I just know about that particular interview. that particular portion stood out to me, and I had to talk about it right now. But, I think that we're afraid a lot of times to reveal our truest nature, and who we are is not just who we are at our best, it's also who we are at our worst too, because that is still a part of us, you know what I mean? We're not who we are when we're always nice to people. We're also like, who are you when you're not so nice, like, is that something I can handle? Because there's going to come a point where if you progress with individuals or among individuals or person, that those things come out. And so I thought it was really cool. So like if you're a person who's like looking for something serious, and that's something that like means a lot to you, is like that total autonomy of putting everything on the table at some point, like maybe try it on the first date. You guys might feel like you're like even more intrigued with each other, now than you were, or than you thought you would be, at least. So, I just think it's like we don't have to hold back who we are. People should just accept us, and if they don't want to deal with who we are or be a part of who we are or make something as a connection, or they don't see that there's value in building something, then that's cool. You move on, you find new people. But a lot of times what happens is we get together and we waste a lot of time because we don't reveal that, and then the other person can't handle that when it comes out. It's too much. And then you have this whole other problem of like, why don't you accept me? And it's like, I didn't know this was you. But it's like, pull yourself on the table, like, don't be afraid to say who you are and like what you do, and maybe your mannerisms and tendencies and different things. Like, don't be afraid to share those things and open up about those things at some point, because they're gonna come through sooner or later. We're not perfect. We get mad and emotional and angry and like all these different things. So like something's going to come through at some point if you are serious with that individual, and you're going to have to be the person to, decide, do I, deal with this? Do I not? Like, how do I feel? So, when you're dating, you find a person, maybe you guys have went on a couple of dates and you're like, should I continue to talk about this, or should I open up? Maybe try it. maybe try it. It might work for you. It totally might work for you. I just feel like we are so afraid of like, that person might not like me if I share that, or that person might not like me if I do that. And it's like, the people that you're looking for are looking for you. Just be you. And I don't mean like, I'm going to get into it in a second. The people that you are looking for you. Okay? Period. Another safety one, tell at least one person where you're going. You know what I mean? If you're going on a date, try to at least tell like a homegirl, hey, I'm going to be here, you know, or I have a date with so-and-so here. And the only reason I say that is that it really is like, I watch a lot of those like murder mystery shows, and there are so many times people go missing and they just never told anybody else like where they were planning to go for that night. And it'd be like, they were seen at a karaoke bar. And it's like, you're finding this out 2 days later, and her best friend could have told you that like, 20 minutes after, you guys figured something out. So time to time, safety precaution, tell at least one person where you're at or where you're going, or if you feel comfortable who you're with, but at least where you're going to be at, like a location, you know what I mean? So just be careful. Next, make sure that you're open-minded. Definitely make sure that you're open-minded. And you're getting back out there, let go of the mentality that you have a type. This is what I was kind of speaking about in the fourth one that I had. It's like, literally, the people that you are looking for you. This is what I mean. Stop thinking that you have a type. The people that you're looking for in terms of like what they look like on a physical level. Hello. They're probably not necessarily checking for you, because when you're looking for a person, what they can offer you, you're looking for them on deeper level than just something superficial. I would imagine. I would hope. I am. I do. At least for like a long-term partner, you would hope that's what you search for, is someone you have a greater connection than just physical attraction. You want there to be like emotional substance, physical like attraction, just, like you want to feel something. I would want to feel something. I'm just saying. If I have to spend the rest of my life with you, we gotta have something. But get out of that mindset that like, I have a type. And I talked about this in that Patterns and Cycles. I talked about that, about feeling like you have a type. Go back and watch that episode. I'm going to link it in the description below for you guys to rewatch. But let go of the mentality that you have a type. I feel like you need to take chances on people you never really would have taken chances on, or situations that you're not 100. They're like, I don't know. Like, go for it. Check it out. See what's up. If you always were the person who dealt with, skateboarders, and you have had the worst time dealing with these guys, and when I say skateboarders, I am very much so like, I sound very shallow when I say that, but just rock with me. A particular type. Like, oh, I need them to be shaggy with baggy pants, they are a skateboard, or they have the tight pants, and I do this. Like, if you have a type like that, like all the time, that's the only thing that you're actively searching for in a person. Okay, well then when they don't have all the other qualities that you are looking for in a person, you're like, what's wrong with them? Really, no, what's wrong with you? You like this clearly, if this is what your type is, right? No, you've got to look beyond that. You've got to look deeper than just like superficial qualities in people, down to skin tone, down to, hair or whatever. Get to know people, you know what I mean? Get to know who someone is on a deeper level, because they really might be into you, and you guys might click, and you would never know because you're too like set on that type. Like, oh, I gotta have this particular type of female. She has to look like this and have this. Well, like, you're limiting yourself to like all these other great people, great women, or great men who could offer you that, this, that, this, and that. And maybe not as much of this one thing, but all this, you know what I mean? So you've definitely got to really understand, like, taking advantage of, like, positive things that are coming towards you as a person, you know what I mean? You've really got to let go of, like, well, this is what I must have. You don't have to let go of it. You can continue to do it, but in like one day, if you're miserable because you just feel like you run into the exact same type of people nonstop, insanity. You can't keep doing the same thing, expect different results forever, okay? You just can't. You got to make a little bit of change. Let's see. I'm sure we have more. Sorry. Refrain from projecting your expectations of how a date should go and should be onto your date. You can let someone know like what you are looking for, but if that individual isn't prepared to do it for you, maybe you guys aren't compatible. Don't even worry about it. Like, I feel as though when I was growing up, my dad used to tell me, like, here, always have enough money to make sure that you can pay for your meal in case he doesn't. Always make sure you have this, this, and this in case he can't. And, like, to some degree, I feel like it's, like, amazing advice because you want to have your children prepared in case the situation does not go the way, the way that you anticipate. But on the same light, it's like, what if you meet a guy and he's like, I go Dutch all the time, and like that's just how he is. You have to allow him to be that way. You don't want to change the individual the same way if you meet a guy who's like, I always pay. Like, yes, it can be difficult, I'm sure, if you're not accustomed, but you do have to allow people to be themselves. Again, allow the other individual to be themselves. If you meet a guy and he's a total slob on the date and he doesn't offer to pay and he's like, can we split the check too? You know what? Matter of fact, can you pick up the onion rings all the way? Because you know what I'm saying? Like, as like much as I'm certain for some people they don't care about that. And it's like, if that's for you, that's for you. But a lot of the time it's like, if that's not what you're looking for, be prepared to have your own stuff and be like, okay, well, I know I'm not going out with him anymore. I know I'm not going out with him anymore if that's something that would totally turn you off. And it would me only because of the manner in which it's done. But, sometimes you gotta say what you gotta say. And you can't hold on to dating people for too long just because you are like awkward about meeting another person, I'm gonna touch on that. You guys are gonna see. Refrain from keeping a tally sheet of your date's etiquette. Like, just refrain. Please try to enjoy the date, enjoy the person. Don't be like, he didn't pull out my chair. He didn't do this for me. He did that for me. He did this. Because then you're like always looking at it from a negative perspective. But if you go into it and you're looking at it with the best of intentions, and you're trying to enjoy yourself and really allow the date to unfold naturally, I feel like it does. If they don't do something perfect or they don't do anything perfect, again, remember, some people are super nervous. Some people haven't dated in God knows how long. They're so worried about trying to get everything right that they forget to do something else, that they need to do, and they're not doing it. So just give people a little bit of leeway, give them a little bit of love, just a little bit. I ain't saying excuse BS, but you guys know what I mean. Be understanding, be gentle, put yourself in their shoes. Like, how would I feel if I never went on a date, or I haven't been on a date in 10 years with a person and like taking someone out? Like, that's tough. And it's tough if you have high expectations, right? So just breathe. I feel as though if that person organically likes you, if you have a little bit of concern about it, you can let them know in a kind, gentle way. But, if that's not who they are naturally, maybe that's not who they are. Some men are like, I don't believe in doing that stuff. We got to know, ladies. We got to know. Let's see. Don't get discouraged if things fall through or things don't manifest or, they don't go where you thought they were going to go. Like, feel protected, feel that, maybe you're trying to develop more before something can progress, or maybe that person's not for you anyway and you don't even realize it. Maybe there's someone even more compatible coming your way. So if things fall through after some dates, give it some time. Don't feel, bad. Rejection is normal. It's healthy. It happens to all of us, every single one of us. It's fine. Push forward, talk to people, meet people, and just enjoy your life, like live life and enjoy what you are learning and developing and gaining in terms of experience from meeting new people, okay? Next and last, this is the last one. It's number 10. Heal. This is probably one of the most important ones, and I really wanted to drive it home. If you're here towards this end of the video, make sure that you heal. Before you even consider trying to further situations with people that you are dating or just getting back out there, make sure that you have done a good amount of healing. I'm not saying be like Miss Perfect, like everything is good now, my rash is gone. No, but heal yourself. Make sure that you sit down, you think about things, you understand, where you are at, what you're looking for, what you want, or at least like some level of like calmness. Because when you come out of rough situations, if you're coming out of a relationship, this is for you. When you're coming out of relationships, you have a lot of residue from that previous relationship. You have a lot of triggers, you have a lot of frustrations, you have a lot of anger, and you can end up taking that out on another person, all because this person is doing something and it's not rooted in the same place at all. They could say something and it just makes you think of, oh, this person used to do this and so now I'm frustrated. And it's like, calm down, don't get so mad, breathe. You have to heal and you have to allow yourself to welcome people in with their good intentions, because everybody is not out to get you or us, any of us, But I know that was a weird switch up with the channel to talk about like dating out like that, but I really, really was thinking about it and thinking about just the patterns and the cycles that we go through. And, when you begin to date after being in a longer relationship or a relationship period, you're entering into a new pattern, into a new cycle, into something new in your life, or just a new chapter. And you are having to like rearrange some things that you used to do, get a better acquainted with like how this is going to work out for you, or like where you fit into, if you fit into handling dating like this, or like how it resonates with you. So, for all of my lovely people who are out here and you are dating, if you're fresh dating or if you've been dating, if you have tips to share with the rest of the listeners and watchers from dating, please chime in with me on my channel under the post. Definitely comment if you're watching this on YouTube, if you have tips for other people. I'm sure that it would be really, really helpful. But these are just things that I thought are good to protect your energy, protect yourself, or great for us to think about for like growth and addressing some of the things that, we used to do with a person, and you're having to come out of that and just think of like, how are you going to do this on your own now? Because now you're not dating with someone that you're dating by yourself. So, I'm glad you guys are here with me, and I'm so grateful for you, and I will see you guys next week.